Welcome back. You're watching Checkpoint. Once again, the death of Kibra Member of Parliament Ken Okoth on July 26th almost immediately thrust a very quiet CDF manager into the responsibility of fitting into the shoes of a man who left a legacy among his constituents. Bernard Okoth, or Imran, if you like, found himself right at the center of a heated political battle royale with far-reaching implications nationwide. His win on Thursday's Kibra by-election has been seen as the first major win for the March 2018 handshake. Tonight, he speaks to us exclusively on his agenda for Kibra, for the Kibra people, and he joins us now here in Checkpoint. Thank you very much for joining us here in Checkpoint. We're really glad to have you here. Long day. We've seen you've been on a rally all day, but first maybe we'll start by congratulating you for being now the Kibra MP elect.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. Thank you.
So where do we go from here? How was the campaign period from a man who was silently managing the constituency as the brother was battling illness to right at the center of a huge political battle? How was that for you?
It is an opportunity for me now to serve the people of Kibra. It has not been easy for the last 2 or so months. We've had a gruesome campaign in Kibra, and the people of Kibra made a choice on the 7th of November. They had faith in me, and they've given me the opportunity to serve them. I'm looking forward to wearing that shoes and serve the people of Kibra well.
I want us to get into politics a little bit later, because there's a lot of questions around this particular campaign.
Yes.
But what would be your first order of business as Member of Parliament for Kibra?
My first order of business is uniting the people of Kibra. I know these campaigns, it has not been easy. It attracted a lot of interest from different quarters. And of course, there were divisions because we had a lot of candidates vying for the same seat. So my first agenda will to unite the people of Kibra so that we look forward and develop Kibra together.
How do you purpose to do that?
Of course, I'm in contact with all the candidates who vied. I want to bring all of them and also their supporters to come back and support the development agenda that we have going forward for Kibra.
Have you been in touch with any of your opponents in this particular race? The last we saw was a phone call from Jubilee's Mariga. Have you been in touch with any of them? Because I would imagine if it's by starting with the unity, then you start with your opponents who had their own followers.
If you go back a week ago, we had 4 candidates, although their names were on the ballot paper, that they had stepped aside to support my candidature. The last 2 or 3 days, of course, I've again talked to quite a number. Some of them have reached out on text, and we are going to work together. Yes.
Are you going to disclose who has reached out?
No. Quite a number. Not all of them.
Okay. Imran, you have 2.5 years in Parliament, and basically managing the constituency, these are not new waters for you. So many would ask, are you then planning on starting something new or continuing works that were already in line while Ken Okoth, your late brother, was still alive?
I'm not going to start any new thing because, you know, we have only 2 years to the end of this parliament. My agenda was continuation of the transformative agenda that we had for the last 7 years. So I'll continue the good work that we've been doing. That will be my agenda.
Let's break it down.
Yes.
In your manifesto, your slogan was Elimu Bora, Uchumi Bora, Mazingira Bora. You're talking about, of course, economy, the environment, and education. Education was a big pillar of Ken Okoth's legacy right before his sudden demise. So let's break it down. As far as education, what are you going to do specifically with the economy in that constituency? What do we expect to see? And of course, with the environment as well.
On education, there are a lot of things that we need to look at. One is the infrastructure. The infrastructure must be of good quality so that our young boys and girls who go to these institutions find a good learning environment, building more schools, making sure that the schools that exist, they are properly done, proper innovations are done so that our young people get a proper learning environment. That is key to me. If you look at what is happening today, we don't have a lot of institutions. And there's a report that was out there like a month ago. You find in Nairobi alone, the number of high schools that we have are not sufficient. No public institutions. And Mheshimiwa Okoth has done a lot, and I'm going to continue with the same. Within the next 2 years, I plan to do 2 new high schools in Kibra, finish the one that was going on, build 1 public primary school again in Kibra. As you find today, most of our young people don't have proper places to go to school. And it's being supplemented by informal or up-bed schools within Kibra. Some of them are not in good learning conditions. So this is something that we need to look at as we go forward. The other thing on matters education, you find where we come from in Kibra, most of our parents, the constituents in Kibra, they do casual jobs. They have kids who need to go to school. So they need to be supported, either through scholarship or bursary. This is something that I will continue doing as we go forward, so that we ease the burden from the parents of Kibra.
Your competitors during the election, the by-election campaign, one of the major issues that they took, of course, on you was what they termed as discrimination in the issuing out of bursaries. We've not really heard you address this. Do you mind?
I have never done that. The documents are there, the data is there. So we don't discriminate. We always, we adopted 1 day every year that we do our bursaries. Again, the following day, we always do a scholarship program that all the students who learned in Kibra have the opportunity equally apply for it. So I don't discriminate. You know, where in politics, the things that people will say that really might not be the truth. So for me, I say I work for the people with the whole honesty, without tribalism. So that will continue as my agenda, as we continue working for the people of Kibra. Yes.
Uchumi Bora, talk to us. What are you going to do to improve the livelihoods of the people of Kibra?
On Uchumi Bora, we are looking at, we have a lot of our people who are into small-scale business. We have to empower them through existing government loans, and of course, widen their markets. You find there are a lot of things that are made in Kibra products. We need to sell them out there. We need to showcase that there are good things that are made in Kibra. So that will be an opportunity for me. I plan to have quarterly Jokali exhibitions, what we produce in Kibra, so that a lot of people can know, and we have a market for these products that are produced in Kibra. So that is an area that I'm going to look at even as we go forward.
Has it happened for the 3 years or so that you've been managing the constituency, or it's when you want to start doing that?
These are things that we, you know, in the first term we did much in education, and these are things that we were supposed to do with these. Looking back, we know none of us expected that Mheshimiwa will be taken ill, but be it as it may, things happened. We have to move forward as a constituency. So this is part of my agenda, as much as we're looking at other things that we did previously. So it's going to be a priority.
Your constituency, Kenya's largest slum,
Yes.
sits right in the middle of your constituency, and we've had previous members of parliament who've been there promising to improve the livelihoods of these people. I'm of more keen interest on what is it that you're going to do differently this time?
Yes, we've had other leaders who have been there previously. They've done their bit. A lot of criticism have been made towards Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. He's been the Member of Parliament for the longest time in Kibra. But he did what he could do. He's done a lot. A lot of people sit back and criticize, but they don't know what he did. On matters housing, he came up with the slum upgrading. That started very well. There are a lot of bottlenecks that, again, that came across. There were interested parties that also want the peace of Kibra. It is a hotcake in Kibra, that land. So you find there were those bottlenecks, court cases that, again, made the project not to proceed well as it was planned. But this is something that I'm looking forward to be done during this period when the president has put it as main among the 4 agendas that he has. I'm looking forward to interacting with him so that we start the same program in Kibra. If you solve the issue of housing in Kibra today, you'll have solved a lot of things in Kibra. Be it sewer line, be it roads in Kibra, be it clean water. There's so many things you'll have solved. So this is something that I'll want to see happen in Kibra.
How exactly then? I like that you mentioned the housing, slum upgrading housing project, and it's a big issue. When Kibra is mentioned and the slum upgrading issue is mentioned, they are conjoined twins.
Yes.
How exactly, what interventions are you going to put in place as the
We will have to involve each and everyone. All the stakeholders must be involved. The people who have rented those houses, again, the people, the structure owners who also own those houses, we must engage them. Because at the end of the day, everyone is entitled to proper housing, to live decently. We cannot leave our people as leaders to live in very horrible situations, and yet we say we are their leaders. So this is something that I'm looking forward to engaging the former Right Honorable Prime Minister and the President regarding the same. So this is an issue I'm going to focus on, so that we have this program up and running in Kibra.
You've lived in Kibra almost all your life.
Yes.
You've gone to school there, you were born there. You know Kibra in and out.
Yes.
What are the biggest issues for the people of Kibra? What are these gaps you've noticed that you would be very swift to look at as a Member of Parliament?
As Member of Parliament, the biggest issue today is education. Education cuts across in all the 5 wards that we have in Kibra, and it is a priority to all of them. You find most of our parents will want their kids to go out to school out of Kibra, because they feel we lack those proper institutions for their kids. So this is an area that I'm going to look at, so that they need to have confidence in the institutions that we built in Kibra, other than using a lot of money to ferry their kids out of Kibra to go and get education out of Kibra. That is a priority. The other issue is water and sanitation. It is a big issue today. This is an area that I want to focus on, engaging the Nairobi County government again, because you find we spend a lot of money. You find we spend a lot of money buying water, and yet this is something that needs to be available at a very cheaper cost. So we find the cost of water vis-a-vis the cost of housing and food, the cost of water is bigger in your budget than even paying the rent and buying food. So this is an area also I want to look at and address.
Just about 2 Sundays ago, we had a conversation here on the water situation in this country.
Yes.
And most of these problems, even like you mentioned, are being blamed on cartels.
Yes.
Are you aware, even in Kibra itself, the biggest issue is the water cartels? How are you going to handle
Of course, it's not only the cartels in Kibra, probably. It starts with the cartels at the Nairobi Water Company. So they collude and do business in the expense of the common mwananchi, who has to cough a lot of money to make sure that he or she gets clean water to use at home. So this is an area also I'm going to keenly look at, and I begin engaging the leadership at Nairobi Water Company so that this is addressed once and for all.
But you know, dealing with cartels is not easy. It's not just a matter of...
It is not easy. It is not easy, but of course, I'll encourage my people. Of course, as a representative, I need to address this on their behalf. But again, of course, we will be talking to them. There is no way you'll find a water vendor is selling water next to your house, and yet you don't have that water. So this is an issue we will have to address.
Okay.
Yes.
I want us to quickly take a break. This is Checkpoint. What questions do you have for the incoming Member of Parliament, Kibra constituency? We saw a heated political space in this particular by-election. I believe you have a number of questions for him. Do tweet us at Akisawandera, at KTN News, KE, at KTN Kenya. You can as well text us on 22155. The hashtag to use is Checkpoint for easier tracking of your questions and your comments. I'll definitely be forwarding them to him when we get back from the break. Stay with us. This is Checkpoint.